Important opportunity to speak with a Republican member of Congress on the heels of this announcement. Congressman Roger Williams of Texas, who chairs the House Small Business Committee, joins us right now live from Capitol Hill. And Congressman, it's great to have you on Bloomberg TV and radio. You own car dealerships, and you have a unique insight to the fallout from what we just heard from the president. I'd like to start with your perch, though, on the Small Business Committee and whether this helps small businesses at least understand what's coming, because many are worried that we're headed for an inflationary environment or worse, a stagflationary environment. What does this mean for small business owners?
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, there's a lot of things being said right now. And basically, I can tell you, being a small business owner myself, tariffs are talked about, cost of goods sold are talked about, but also what small business and Main Street want those tax cuts and cutting regulations. I mean, we've got to get that done and also come by the end of April. But I think that Main Street, we begin to know the rules. I think the program the president put out today was very well thought of, and everybody agrees we've got to fix this imbalance of trade. There's no reason America should be in a deficit trading position with any country in the world. We need to be the makers of, not the buyers of, and this is going to get us in that position. Now, I will tell you, being a retail person in the car business, we could see a raise in cost of goods sold, but at the same time, when that happens to people, car dealerships and the retail part of this business, what you do is you adjust. If you've had something on the shelf or the lot too long because it's higher priced, you reduce the price, and then you sell it and get something that you can sell at a margin. I can tell you too that in my business, used car market's going to go up now, so people, their used car is going to be higher. They're going to get a tax discount here in the next several weeks, and they're going to get a discount from the dealer. So I've told people it's actually feasible that you could buy a car with a tariff on it cheaper than you could before it had a tariff on it.
But I wonder, Congressman, what that actually means for the margins for these businesses. Because if the end goal of the tariffs is in part to encourage more manufacturing in the U.S., if you are making those long-term capital investments, don't you need a little bit of a cushion to be able to do that? How are businesses supposed to be able to do both things at the same time?
Well, you got to be able to sell and you got to be able to grow. I mean, that's what being in business is all about. But I think what you're going to see, and I think the president put it pretty clear, that if you're going to build in America, you're going to get discounts. You could even not pay any tax if you bring your businesses here. And that's why we see auto manufacturers not going overseas now. They're already committing to expand in plants that they might have had, or older plants are built in America. I mean, that's what it's going to be about. That's going to drive prices down. You're going to have more people working in the plants. You're going to have more jobs. You're going to have more customers. So I think Main Street over the short haul is going to benefit from it. There could be a shock in cost of goods sold, but we as retailers take care of that by removing the higher price unit and selling the fresh one that we get. That's what it's all about in controlling inventories.
Well, the shock on Wall Street has been real, Congressman. I wonder what you make of these numbers. You probably heard me mentioning them coming into our conversation. We already went into correction territory. We're looking at a more than 4% decline in S&P futures, the broad market right now. The Russell 2000, of course, tracking small businesses, close to your heart here. If these declines hold tomorrow morning, through the night into tomorrow morning, it will be in bear market territory. Is the market just wrong?
Well, I'm not saying the market's wrong, but I'm not surprised, are you? I mean, this was something that people have been waiting. There have been all kinds of, what, is he going to say this? Is he going to do that? So I think the markets are adjusting accordingly, but I think they'll come back because, and fairly soon, because it's natural to for these markets to come down based on what we've talked about. But I think we'll see Main Street come back. Main Street will carry more inventory. Main Street will sell. The economy's going to be good. I'm going to tell you, we're going to have a good year this year. And when you talk about interest rates and you get deep into that, people are going to have the ability to buy something at a fair price. I'm going to have a chance to sell something at a fair price. And that's called capitalism, entrepreneurship. And it's going to create competition again. A lot of businesses haven't been able to compete against each other. They've been fighting government regulations. So I think over the long pull, meaning, I don't know, next quarter and a half, you'll begin to see all that come back.
Well, so is that what you're telling your constituents, Mr. Chairman? Because we continually are seeing polling that suggests that Americans are not totally satisfied with President Trump's handling of the economy so far, that tariffs are not overwhelmingly popular. What is the American electorate getting wrong on that front? Are their feelings on that not valid?
Well, I'm not saying their feelings are not right or what they're getting wrong. They're concerned. I mean, a lot of people are concerned. You can't read anything up until tonight. There's nothing good being said about tariffs. There's nothing good about being said about a lot of things that happen in the economy. The people hear that. But I'm telling you, Main Street is resilient. Main Street will come back. Main Street will get going. Main Street's excited. People I talk to, and I've been in the car dealership business 52 years. I've been through a lot of things. And we're a resilient group, and they're going to read some negatives, but at the same time, they still got to go to work. They still got to open up. They still got to sell that product they got on the ground, and they will do it. And the consumer will benefit from it because they'll be back competing again in free market and capitalism be working.
Is the SBA, the Small Business Administration, prepared to help small businesses who are going through this, whether it's a car dealership or otherwise? Congressman, we've been telling stories about this massive run-up, the front-loading ahead of the tariffs. It's been a riot on car dealer lots. That could be a really different story in the second half of the year.
Well, are you talking about people buying cars because they're afraid of the price increase?
That's what we've been talking about, yeah. Pretty remarkable increases.
Well, we've had some increases, but it was nothing like COVID, for example. But look, that's good. If we can sell a car today and sell a car tomorrow and the next day, that's all good. So that's positive. I'm telling you, the consumer will wake up one day very soon and say, hey, things are okay. The bottom didn't fall out. I still have my job. I have a tax deduction. I don't have as many regulations on my business, and everything's going to get back to normal and be better than normal. But I'm not surprised we have the markets doing this and that, and consumers being worried, the small business owners being concerned. I mean, I'm concerned, but I'm telling you, it's going to come back. I've seen a lot worse than this before in 52 years of being in business.
And finally, Congressman, on the subject of taxes, the Senate, of course, released its own budget reconciliation blueprint today, more in line with what you and your colleagues in the House had passed, though there are still some gaps that need to be bridged here. Are you confident that this really can get done by Memorial Day, as the Speaker has suggested?
Well, it has to be. It has to. I mean, we ran on this. President Trump got 75 million voters that want to say, I want tax cuts, I want less regulations. We need to do it. We passed a bill out of the House. The Senate, quite frankly, I'll just pass that one. President Trump has told him to do it, and let's just get on with it. So every day that goes by, it's one day less that we can begin to promote this agenda that will fall in line with what we talked about, giving confidence to Main Street America.
All right, Republican Congressman Roger Williams of Texas, the chair of the House Small Business Committee. Thank you so much for joining us. We want to get